You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. We are impacted, coronavirus impacting our elections here in the United States. In Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine wants to suspend tomorrow's election, saying that it violates the CDC protocol for groups gathering 10 or more. In Texas, they are losing people in Florida as well to work the polls. In Illinois, same thing. Normally they have something around 8,000 people who work the polls. They got about 5,800. Part of the issue here is that people who work the polls are like my parents, older citizens, and they're canceling left and right. In Georgia, the governor there is trying to cancel the election, and then he wants to appoint somebody to the Supreme Court. Joining us right now is Kristen Clarke. Of course, she leads the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under law. We're going to be talking with her about a couple of different stories. But first, Kristen, let's deal with this voting issue first. You even have Senator Bernie Sanders is now calling for a delay of all these primaries as well. Joe Biden is saying no, move forward with them. How do we now deal with, and what are y'all doing to fight this whole issue of some people saying, let's just do, ballot by mail. I saw one of your tweets where y'all said that greatly impacts whites and it hurts African Americans. And so unpack all of this whole issue of voting and coronavirus for us.
Yeah, we are working around the clock and fighting to ensure voter access. I mean, we're in uncharted territory. We haven't faced a public health crisis like this in modern time, but we have been through some events like 9/11, which impacted New York City's election, and Hurricane Katrina, which impacted Louisiana's election. So you would think in 2020 that states would be better prepared, that they'd have contingency plans in place, a plan B, but they don't. And so they are all scrambling. And so we have a state-by-state strategy approach in place right now. We're looking very carefully at the laws in every state. We're looking at the powers that governors have, and we are pressing and pushing them to do more than allow vote by mail. We're pushing them to make absentee balloting as easy as possible. We're focused on voter registration, right? I mean, right now with people quarantined and the cut down on social activity, this has a chilling effect on our ability to register people who are not yet on the registration rolls. So we're fighting state by state. It's a comprehensive strategy. The laws look different in every single state. Right now, we have elections canceled in Georgia, or postponed in Georgia, Louisiana. Ohio has asked the court for an extension. Kentucky has moved to postpone its election, and New York and Puerto Rico are rumored to be thinking very seriously about delays. But that should be a last resort. We have been pushing officials in Ohio. We said, look, make it easier for people to get absentee ballots. Loosen up the deadline. Let people have until election day for those ballots to be postmarked. Count them if they're postmarked by election day. Allow people to go and retrieve an absentee ballot for someone who may be elderly or sick or quarantined. And it's been an uphill battle. I think that when the dust settles, we have a lot of work to do, because in a modern day democracy like ours, we should have a stronger plan B in place. The final point I'll make is what you said, Roland, that vote by mail is not the kind of magic fix for all of this. We know that African Americans historically have placed great value in going in to cast that ballot, whether it's in person on election day or during early voting. We also know that there are people who have language needs that may not be met by simply mailing a ballot to them at home. So this isn't the kind of best fix for voters of color, which is why we're pushing for states to open up multiple avenues, open up as many avenues as possible that will allow people to participate in 2020.
Obviously, this is a huge issue that we're paying attention to. And part of the problem is that you take the case of Mike DeWine. He wants to suspend the election. Ohio votes tomorrow. He doesn't have the power.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with the court. I'll tell you that my team has been on the ground in Ohio with our partners. We have people whose health is compromised. We have people who have been quarantined. We have low-income people in public housing complexes where polling sites have been moved away from those complexes and placed far away. The barriers that voters were up against were tremendous. We sent a demand letter to officials in Ohio yesterday, urging them to do more, and we were bracing for the possibility of litigation today when the state made this decision to postpone. We're happy that people will not be disenfranchised, but it's still a very dire situation. We have to make sure that the state educates every single voter about the new election date. We have to make sure that people are informed about polling sites that may switch back and forth. There is a lot of work to do to make sure that all of these 11th hour changes do not cause utter chaos in the 2020 cycle. Our job at the Lawyers Committee is making sure that African American voters and people of color who have been historically locked out are able to exercise their voice. We are running our election protection program. This is the nation's largest nonpartisan voter protection program. It's anchored by the 866 Our Vote hotline. And I can tell you, my team has been working around the clock all weekend and will be there tomorrow, from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m., working hand in hand with voters to make sure that they can cast their ballots. 866 Our Vote.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, so a lot of y'all are always asking me about some of the pocket squares that I wear. Now, Robert don't have one on. Nope. Now, I don't particularly like the white pocket squares. I don't like even the silk ones. And so I was reading GQ magazine a number of years ago, and I saw this guy who had this pocket square here, and it looks like a flower. This is called a shibori pocket square. This is how the Japanese manipulate the fabric to create this sort of flower effect. So I'm going to take it out and then place it in my hand so you see what it looks like. And I said, man, this is pretty cool. And so I tracked down, it took me a year to find a company that did it. And so they make these about 47 different colors. And so I love them because, again, as men, we don't have many accessories to wear, so we don't have many options. And so this is really a pretty cool pocket square. Now, what I love about this here is you saw when it's in the pocket, it gives you that flower effect like that. But if I wanted to also, unlike because if I flip it and turn it over, it actually gives me a different type of texture. And so therefore it gives me a different look. So there you go. So if you actually want to get one of these shibori pocket squares, we have them in 47 different colors. All you got to do is go to RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. All right, so first of all, that graphic is way too small. So tomorrow we're going to run it right down here all across the screen. So it's RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. All you got to do is go to my website and you can actually get this. Now, for those of you who are members of our Bring the Funk fan club, there's a discount for you to get our pocket squares. That's why you also got to be a part of our Bring the Funk fan club. And so that's what we want you to do. And so it's pretty cool. So if you want to jazz your look up, you can do that. In addition, y'all see me with some of the feather pocket squares. My sister, who's a designer, she actually makes these. They're all custom made. So when you also go to the website, you can also order one of the customized feather pocket squares right there at RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. So please do so. And of course, it goes to support the show. And again, if you're a Bring the Funk fan club member, you get a discount. This is why you should join the fan club. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.